Hello students, here I am with a new chapter, that is polynomials. First we recall all the topics that we have studied last year in class 9. Then soonly thereafter we will proceed to the topics which are going to be introduced in class 10th. So first you see the basics of mathematical expression or expression that you should know. A well-informed finite combination of numbers, symbols and operators that indicates some information are called mathematical expression or expressions. For example, if you see this example, 1 minus 7 plus 3 or 3x minus 6 or 0 plus 0 or 4x cube minus 12 plus 2. All of these examples are well formed finite combinations of variables, symbols and numbers. Here the term used, well informed, is important. Well informed implies that all the terms in the expression must be valid and correctly placed. For example, if you see this example, 4x plus minus 27 by y, actually it is not an expression. The reason behind this is it is not well informed. So if the question is being asked what are the different forms of expressions, you can say that different forms of expressions may be arithmetic, it may be algebraic, it may be analytical, or it may be closed form. Now this is our topic, that is polynomials. So if you see this word polynomials, it is basically made up of two different words. The first word is poly and the second word is nomials. Poly is a Greek word which means many, whereas this nomial is a Latin word which means names. Or in mathematical concept, we call nomials as a term. The mathematical meaning of nomials is term. So an algebraic expression which consists of many terms or many names are called as polynomials. So here we have a definition of this polynomial. A polynomial is an algebraic expression consisting of constant, variables and algebraic operations. The operations may be addition, subtraction or multiplication, and where the variables are raised to the power of a whole number. Here the another definition of a polynomial is an algebraic expression which consisting of many terms. The word term includes constant or variable or exponents. These are the three things which are included in the word term. Here I have given you the difference between the constant and a variable. Please go through this, and after this we have to define what is a polynomial in one variable. An algebraic expression which consisting of terms in the form of axn, where x raised to the power n is a whole number which is always in the form of a positive integer, and a is constant and x is a variable. Note that the value of a is called the coefficient of the term x raised to the power n, whereas degree of the polynomial is the value of the largest exponent in a polynomial, and it is always a whole number. Here are few of the examples where you can easily understand the difference between the variables, terms and degree. If you see the first example, that is 5x, here x is basically a variable, this whole 5x is called as a term, and if you have to check the total number of terms in this given example, that is 1. And what we called x as, x is called as the coefficient. Coefficient of x is actually 5, and what is the degree of this example of a polynomial? Its degree is 1. Now here we will make it very clear that if you have to count the number of terms of an polynomial, for this you have to see the total number of symbols of, simply after simplifying any algebraic expression, you have to check the total number of additions and subtractions. You just simply count out the total number of addition and subtraction, and you comes to know how many terms are there in that algebraic expression. So if you see out here the second example, if we count the total number of addition and subtraction, you see that before 2y cube it is addition, before 9y square that is also addition, and before 4 it is subtraction. So the total number of symbols we have addition and subtraction are 3. So the number of terms in the second examples are 3. And what is the variable that has been used in this expression? That is y. What is the coefficients out there? The coefficients of y cube is 2, the coefficient of y square is 9, the coefficient of 1 is -4. That, and if you see the degree of this example, that is 3. We know that in class 9th we just studied the highest power of a variable that is used in an expression is called as the degree of expression. So the highest power here of the variable used here is 3, that is why the degree here is 3. Now you see the third and fourth example, and just do it by yourself and check what is the variable out there, what is the term there, how many terms are there, what is the coefficient, and what are the degrees there. So far as the naming of polynomials are concerned, you see that the naming of a polynomial is done on 2 bases. What are the 2 bases? Polynomials are named on the basis of their terms as well as on the basis of their degree. If you see, the first 3 are the names of the polynomial on the basis of their terms, whereas the last 3, if you see, these are named on the basis of the degree of a polynomial. So what are they? On the basis of the term, polynomials are of any of the kind. For example, if a polynomial is having only one term, we call it as a monomial. Mono means one and nomial means term. The second is binomial. Bi means 2, nomial means term. So a polynomial having 2 terms is called as a binomial. Similarly, a polynomial having 3 terms is known as trinomial. The examples of a trinomial, if you want to see the example of trinomial, you just move on to this example B, and the given polynomial is a trinomial. Whereas if you see the first one, it is first example, that is 5x, it is an example of a monomial. Similarly, if you see this example D, this is a example of binomial. Why it is an example of binomial? Because here it consists of 2 terms, B part consisting of 3 terms, so it is called as a trinomial, whereas the A part is consisting, this is written 5x, is consisting of only 1 term, so it is called as a monomial. Similarly, on the basis of a degree, we named polynomial as a linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial and cubic polynomial. If a polynomial is having degree 1, if you see the previous table, the degree 1 is of example. First you see here, this is degree 1, and it is of 5x. So on the basis of degree, this 5x is known as a linear polynomial. A polynomial whose degree is 2 is called as a quadratic polynomial. So again, move on to this chart first, and you can see that the last example is having a degree 2. It means that is x square minus 2. We call it as, on the basis of degree, we named it as a quadratic polynomial, while on the basis of term we earlier named it as a binomial. Similarly, if you see the degree 3, the degree 3 is of this example second, and you see this, its degree is 3. So we call the part B as a cubic polynomial, while on the basis of term we can name it as a trinomial. These are the basic namings of a polynomial, and always remind that or recap that the polynomials are named on two bases. The first base is the term, and on the basis of term, polynomials are named as monomial, binomial, trinomial, and further you can say if it consists of 4 terms, quadrinomial, if it consists of 5 terms, quintinomial, and so on. But that is not a part of our syllabus, so we will not discuss about those. Whereas on the basis of degree, polynomial may be named as linear polynomial. Linear polynomial means having degree 1. Quadratic polynomial means degree 2. Cubic polynomial means degree 3. Quadratic polynomial, biquadratic polynomial means degree 4, and so on. Since we have to deal only with linear, quadratic and cubic polynomials, so we will not discuss about biquadratic polynomial. These are the part of your syllabus: linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial and cubic polynomial. Now see the example number C. At last I have mentioned that if you see this example C, it is an example of non-zero or a constant polynomial. We discussed only about monomial, binomial, trinomial on the basis of term, and on the basis of degree we only discuss linear, quadratic and cubic polynomial. So the question arises, what happens if a degree of any polynomial is 0? So we always called that polynomial as a constant polynomial. If degree of any polynomial is 0, we called it as a constant polynomial. Similarly, if you see, suppose I am giving an example that is 0. If question has been asked, what is the degree of 0? Since you know that the degree of 0 is not defined, but 0 is a polynomial. So what kind of polynomial is it? On the basis of degree, we say that the name of the polynomial is 0. 0 is called a 0 polynomial because its degree is not defined. This point